From village boy to Navy defender. The village dreams. The small village of Noorabad lay tucked between golden fields and winding dirt paths, far from the rush of cities. It was a place where life moved slowly, where the morning began with the call of roosters and ended with the flickering glow of oil lamps. In this village, among simple huts and laughter-filled courtyards, lived a boy named Arslan. Arslan was no different from other boys in appearance, but his heart carried a fire that set him apart. While most boys of his age ran after kites or splashed in the village pond, Arslan would sit quietly under the neem tree and gaze at the horizon. His eyes followed the clouds and the birds that flew toward the unseen world beyond. He dreamed not of farming or trade, but of service and protection. His father, a farmer, often laughed at him kindly. "Arslan," he would say, "the world is bigger than our fields, but don't let dreams pull you away from your roots." But Arslan's heart always whispered, "One day, I will wear a uniform. One day, I will guard this land." A teacher's wisdom. At the heart of Noorabad was a modest school, its walls faded, its benches cracked, but its purpose unbroken. Here taught Master Rahim, a man of wisdom and compassion. He believed that children from villages deserved the same chance as those in cities, and he taught not only letters and numbers but also courage and morality. Rahim noticed Arslan's silence, his habit of staring beyond the classroom window. One day, after class, he asked gently, "Tell me, Arslan, what do you see in the horizon?" Arslan hesitated, then replied, "Sir, I see ships, and soldiers, and flags flying. I see myself standing among them." Rahim smiled. "Dreams are not foolish, my son. But remember, dreams walk on the feet of effort. If you wish to protect this land, you must first strengthen your mind and your heart." From that day on, Rahim became more than a teacher. He became a mentor, guiding Arslan not only in studies but in life. He taught him discipline, patience, and the value of service. The weight of struggles. Life in Noorabad was not easy. The family's income came from small harvests that often depended on uncertain rains. There were nights when food was scarce, and mornings when Arslan's father returned from the fields with worry etched across his face. Arslan's mother, a gentle woman with tired eyes, sacrificed much for her children. She would mend his clothes again and again, so he could attend school neatly dressed. She often skipped meals, giving her portion to Arslan and his younger sister. Arslan saw all of this. The fire in his heart only grew stronger. He wanted to change their lives, to bring pride to his family. But the path was steep. Books were expensive, opportunities rare, and the nearest recruitment office miles away. Still, he studied under the flickering lamp, repeating every lesson Master Rahim taught. At dawn, he helped his father in the fields. In the evenings, he guided his sister with her schoolwork. In silence, he carried the weight of poverty, but in his heart, he carried the dream of a uniform. March toward the horizon. The day came when news reached Noorabad. Recruitment for the Navy forces would be open in the district city. Arslan's heart pounded. This was his chance. His parents looked at him with mixed emotions. His mother feared the dangers. His father feared the distance. But Master Rahim stood firm. "Let him go," the teacher said. "He is meant for more than these fields. Let him try." With a bag no bigger than his hope, Arslan left the village. He walked barefoot for miles until he caught a bus to the city. The noise, the buildings, the sea of strangers, all of it felt overwhelming. But Arslan kept repeating his teacher's words. Dreams walk on the feet of effort. The selection was not easy. Physical tests, written exams, interviews, each step tested his strength, his mind, his patience. Many fell behind, but Arslan refused to surrender. His body ached, his feet blistered, yet he pushed forward. Weeks later, a letter arrived in Noorabad. It bore the seal of the Navy force. With trembling hands, his mother opened it. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she read the words. Selected for training. The whole village celebrated, but no one was prouder than Master Rahim, who whispered a prayer of gratitude. The uniform of honor. Training was brutal. Early mornings, harsh drills, endless routines. Arslan had never known such hardship. There were moments when his body screamed for rest, when his mind begged him to quit. But each time, he remembered the hungry nights of his family, the tired smile of his mother, the calloused hands of his father, and the voice of his teacher. Months turned into years. Arslan transformed. His shoulders grew broader, his steps firmer, his eyes sharper. He learned not only to handle weapons, but to value discipline, loyalty, and sacrifice. The day he received his navy blue uniform, his heart swelled with pride. He stood tall before the mirror, saluted, and whispered, "This is for you, Ami." This is for you, Master Rahim. This is for Noorabad, defending the desert front. Years later, Arslan stood in the desert, just as in his childhood dreams. The sun blazed overhead, the sand whipped around his boots, but he stood unshaken. Behind him rumbled the armored vehicles, their engines roaring like lions. A tank marked with the words Navy Force cast its shadow across the dunes. In his hands, he carried his rifle, not as a symbol of violence, but as a promise of protection. His face was calm, his eyes determined. The boy who once gazed at horizons was now a man guarding them. Fellow soldiers stood by his side, but within his heart stood his teacher, his parents, and his village. He whispered to himself, I am not alone. Every prayer of Noorabad walks with me. Echoes in the village. Back in Noorabad, the villagers gathered often around Master Rahim's small school. They would sit on mats, listening to the radio or reading letters that arrived from Arslan. Each letter carried words of love, respect, and gratitude. His mother would press those letters to her chest, her eyes moist with pride. His father, once doubtful, now held his head high in the fields. His sister, inspired, worked harder in her studies, dreaming of serving the nation too. Master Rahim often pointed to Arslan's story when teaching his students. Children, he said, remember this, Arslan was one of you. He had nothing but dreams and determination. If he can guard the nation, so can you. The village that once saw Arslan as a quiet boy now saw him as their pride, their protector, their living proof that dreams can rise from dusty huts to shine on national flags. The lesson: Arslan's story is not only about one boy. It is about every child who dares to dream beyond poverty. It is about every teacher who plants the seed of courage, every parent who sacrifices silently, and every village that sends its sons to guard the horizon. The world often believes greatness comes from cities, wealth, or privilege. But Noorabad proved otherwise. From the dusty paths of a forgotten village rose a boy who carried his people's hopes, wore the uniform of honor, and stood fearless before the horizon. The lesson is simple yet eternal. Glowing star, dream with courage. Work with patience. Serve with love. And the world will remember your name.